so the question has come in about how we think Kata Bunkai deals with a grappler. We've got to kind of define what we think a grappler is, because there's all kinds of different grapplers. You've got the guy who's trying to immobilise you, pin your shoulders to the floor for the sake of winning a point, and you've got the guy who wants to just get into a scrap and throw you around and beat you to pieces. So the query kind of comes in the popularity of MMA as it goes, these days. And we always say to people, you don't want to be on the floor, but if you end up on the floor, you need to have a few skills and know what to do when you do get to the floor, so that you don't just get beaten up while you're down there. But if we can stop ourselves from going there, then hopefully we'll be a lot better off anyway. So the way we like to look at it is to deal with a rugby tackle rather than a kind of a judo throw. If we were taking that collar and elbow grip for the judo throw, then essentially he's got to get a leg underneath me in order to throw me. He's going to throw me over his hip. So he's going to come into here, or he's going to try to step around that leg and come into here. And as long as I can keep my head over my heels, I can maintain my balance. So whichever one of those you go for, I'll just stay in here and we'll keep that wedge position so that we don't go there in the first place. And if I'm playing by the rules, then I'm going to try and sneak a throw in myself. But if I'm a karate man who doesn't play by the judo rule, then while he's trying all that, I'm just going to hit him and then we'll go to work on doing something else. Right? Because that's outside of what you're allowed to do, right? So that's by the by. When we're dealing with the grappler, I've got to think first that I'm going to need a solid base. The tinier my base is, the easier he's going to find it to chuck me about. If he's coming in with a shoot, which is their, access to your legs, he's going for the legs, he's going for the hips at the highest, to try and reap from under me, to drive me to the floor so that he can get his pin position, then I'm going to try to make that as difficult for him as possible. So as he comes in for his entry, I'm going to create a wide base. Hey, all that stance work pays off, right? And then I'm going to use some kind of strike to try to keep him out there. So this wedge formation is a really good place to start. I want to he's trying to close the distance. He's trying to get right into here. So if I can keep him out there with my wedge formation, say like the start of Meikyo, then I'm going to have a lot more luck, a lot more success than I am by trying to deal with something that's already happening here. If I can turn this into a strike as he comes in, then maybe I stop it from ever going anywhere else. Right? So we try and make the point redundant and make it a moot question. Okay? So if he is shooting for the waist or shooting for the hip, my best bet is to keep my centre of gravity over the top of him and let him drive to the floor, just let me go to the top. So as we come in here, it's going to be this way, so that I'm still more or less upright and working here and definitely trying to get back up to go, rather than me trying to get to the grapple and then, seize a leg or take hold of here, and we get into actually playing their game with them. So a couple of little targets. The one we like to use is up here on the shoulder, call it the small intestine 15 point, and any time we drop in there, we're going to have a reasonable effect. If I miss it, I still get a good forearm bar across the trapezius, and that gives us our root principle for dealing with someone who's trying to grapple against you.